Hello, the following tutorial will cover designing precipitation map templates for Viz Weather. Begin by creating a parent container for the hierarchy. If you don't have map server available, you can find map samples under Viz Curious Maps folder. Add GeoImage to the container and set the scaling. From Control Weather plugins, add CWS map to enable editing of the map from Viz Weather. Edit its field identifier and description. And from the weather plugins, add WImage refresh. This plugin will update the child plugin upon any map change. Create a child container. Back to Control Weather plugins, add CWS ISO. The multiple lock icon indicates that you can add multiple CWS ISO plugins to a template. Edit the field identifier in the description. In ISO Grid UI, change the type to be field, precipitation, and point to precipitation data. You can find some demo data under W folder. Six different levels will be displayed by default. Each represents a different precipitation level. 0.1 mm, 0.5 mm, 1 mm, and so on. Each segment has color features that can be edited. You can go on and edit their color segments. You can edit the number of level values that you want to display. After every change, remember to click Rebuild. After rebuilding, the color segments editors will be updated as well. Let's set it back to the original default. Edit the first segment. You can copy the color from one editor to the next, adjust it, and get a nice gradient. Like so. By default, 2 frames are loaded. Let's set now keyframes for the data. Make sure the current frame value is set to 0 and set the first keyframe. Change the value and set the second one. Switch to the stage. Rename the last keyframe End Key, which is a saved name for the last key of the animated weather data. Save the template, close it, go on air and switch to Viz Weather. Click Ctrl R to refresh the render window and right-click on the graphic templates to refresh the preview. Load the precipitation template and point to the demo precipitation data. An error indicates that the dates range haven't been set yet. Click on the calendar icon and on the magic dates. Viz Weather will load the whole range of data available under the data folder. Play the animation to see your data. Now let's look at some nice manipulations we can apply on the data. Select Smoothing, set a number and click Apply. The data will get smoother but less detailed outlines. Experiment with the different values to see the results. This is a little too much for me. Let's set it back to be 30. And now let's look at the time step. The original data looks like this. A jaggy animation between the different data frames. Let's set it to be 1 minute to get a nice interpolation between the frames. As well, you can edit the levels to be displayed, the 0.1 mm, 0.5 mm, and so on. Under the Animation tab, you can edit the length of the animation to be played. A larger number will move the end key in time and play the animation slower. That's it for designing precipitation map templates for Viz Weather. See you in the next Designing for Viz Weather tutorials.